also used in a lot of off-cycle elections. For instance, the Abuja, the FCT council election, also the Anambra Guba election, the Ekiti Guba election, and the Osun State Guba election. So they've had a bit of trial test in off-cycle elections. So one would have expected that they should have mastered whatever it is they are deploying. So technology is not the problem, if you ask me. It is the failure, or either the deliberate failure of the use of it, or the human angles to it, or failed processes.
All right. From an IT perspective now, because you keep saying human error. Can you explain how the BVAS is supposed to operate, or to be, how it's supposed to work? I beg your pardon. How it's supposed to work? Can you explain, from an IT perspective, so that we who are not IT experts can understand? Because you keep saying the human error was the reason why the technology deployed for the election did not work.
I can't categorically say it's the human error. That's my own perception. That's what I think is the problem. And I don't completely call it error. I just call it the human factor.
Okay.
So it could be malicious, it could be an error, it could be whatever. But I think that the fact that somebody used a device to conduct an election and refused to transmit the results, I find that to be completely human. If he refused to do it, or he said he forgot the access code, or the access code they gave him is not working, all of those things revolve around the human space. Also, there are questions also of training of the ad hoc staff. How sufficiently exposed were they to this technology? So all of that, a proper technical inquest needs to be carried out. So just to put that aside.
Okay.
In terms of how it works, I can only explain what INEC says, and INEC has come out to explain how it works. Basically, the BVAS also, first of all, serves as a voter enrollment device, which means that during the voter registration, the BVAS can also serve that function. It's called the IVED, the INEC voter enrollment device. It's supposed to be able to serve that, and that was used in part for some of the late registrations. Then, apart from that, on the election day, it is supposed to be used for the accreditation. That's why it's called the bimodal, two buys, two. So which means that, in the smart card reader technology, it was purely, authenticating your fingerprint. So there were cases of failed fingerprint, verification. And so they introduced one that if the fingerprint fails to authenticate you, they can resort to the second option of using the facial technology, the facial recognition technology, to verify that you are indeed the person, with the valid owner of the card, the voter's card, which you presented. So basically, that's the first leg of what the BVAS is supposed to do, to verify that yes, you are indeed this voter, you are a valid voter, and so you can now vote. The second thing the BVAS is supposed to do, which I consider very crucial, is to be able to transmit these election results at the end of the day, right there from the polling, unit. We had previously, there's been calls over the years of trying to fix the issue of collation magic, like it's called normally, where people, wake up in the next morning and find all the results have changed at the collation center. So this was something that was supposed to address that. If you are able to transmit these results right there from the polling unit, and it goes to the central server, and it's subsequently, viewed on the IREF, which is the INEC result viewing portal, that should have addressed all of the fears of what happens at the collation center. But where there were, reported cases of people deliberately refusing to use that tool, or perhaps complaining that there was password error or code error, whatever it is, it's actually very suspicious. They are also supposed to robustly subject these devices to reliability tests. And that should not be exclusive to INEC. INEC should invite all of the stakeholders, the political parties, experts, information security experts, reliability engineers, information system auditors, Nigerian Society of Engineers, Institute of Electrical Electronics Engineers, people who, are known as professionals in this area, so that it can be transparent, it can be stakeholder inclusive, That is what is obtainable in other countries, because technology in an electoral process is not supposed to confound and confuse, but rather to leverage it to make sure that the processes are smoother, more efficient, and more transparent. So INEC needs to do a lot more than just dumping these technologies. They need to get stakeholders and involved. For instance, as it is now, in issues or in situations such as this, INEC is supposed to still draw from that pool of professionals to help them look at and investigate this. Apart from the expertise which they contribute, they also add that layer of credibility and transparency to the process. So this is what will make your citizens believe that there were no foul play.